Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the short story called The Isle of Lost Souls. Love that title by Robert Vardeman. He has published dozens of sci-fi and fantasy novels for you folks. He is the next short story in this collection called Pawn Night Chaos that I picked up when I was in college. It was published in 1996, and all these short stories that were written specifically for this collection by different authors to get an opportunity to see what their voice is like in this collection for you folks. I'll link it to you in the comments below in case you're interested in following along with you folks. I picked up this collection when I was in college, and it was published, and Michael Moorcock was my favorite author. I know I was doing a deep dive into it, but except for the first short story to get you started off, none of these short stories were actually written by Michael Moorcock. I wound up not actually reading it, and then I've just finished a deep dive into the Eternal Champion stuff and his stuff and such, and so I figured this would be a nice finale, a way to finish and send it off and read some things I've never read before for you folks. And last night I knocked out this short story. Now this is set in the Elric. He is the most popular Eternal Champion with his sword Stormbringer and his companion Moonglum, and so the Eternal Champions here is basically the basic philosophy. What's happening? This is a conflict that takes place on a variety of alternate planes of existence. There is a law versus chaos, not a good versus evil conflict, and the person who's often fighting for balance is an avatar and an aspect with a different character on each plane of existence that is the Eternal Champion for you folks. So this kind of concept of a multiversal conflict is where it started from, and even the word multiverse was coined by Michael Moorcock, right? So he's heavily influential in science fiction and fantasy too. From stuff, so you can't read modern stuff without it. Also, the law versus chaos. Elric, who is in here too, was a major anti-hero, the first major anti-hero in fantasy and such. And he's cool. He is born with pangs of consciousness and he's an albino and sorcerer who uses sorcery to keep himself alive. Who's born from an evil race of humanoids called the Monabians, and he, just like Dark Elves, very similar to Dritstow, although Dritstow is an anti-hero, he's more of a pure hero. But that's kind of just so I think Dritstow definitely took some advantages from this guy. The most popular Eternal Champion, he was the key character that really pushed off this guy in a major way for you folks, and so we're doing a deep dive into that. And the sword Stormbringer that drains people's souls in order to strengthen not only the sword but the person who's wielding it is also a key character here too. So that's obviously what's happening and so forth, and so you're obviously going to like that a lot. Now I have a few short stories left in this, as you can see, but I definitely feel like this, if there are better or short stories than this, I preferred the one where he is he's in the world of dreams and against the dreams of machinery and so forth. I like that one better. I thought that was more fun and a more interesting take on this character. Also, a lot of these have other characters. They have that, although there is an arc in here that's horrible. The Inquiry, the second short story in here, that's horrible. I don't like it at all. It feels like a 90s parody of where they pushed a guy who's already an anti-hero and a dark and brooding person to like a 90s parody of an even darker and broodier person, right? I don't like it that much, and so forth. And there are a couple other ones here and there, but I prefer In the Machinery of Dreams. That's my favorite short story in here. So that's I love the Lost Isle of Souls. It's fun. I did like it, but there's a lot of description and actually a lot of combat or things that are actually happening plot wise and so forth. And there's a lot of conversations and world building too, which is nice in a novel, but not as great in an 18-page short story. Even though 18 pages are probably medium length for a short story and so forth, so it probably gives me more like a 6 out of 10. But I liked it. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it and such. And this is a guy who has a huge amount of experience, right? He's published tons of novels out there for you folks. So there you are. That is The Lost Isle of Souls for you folks by that guy who's published a lot for you folks. As a reminder, this channel's name is The Worst Thing About New Books. That's a quote by a 19th century French philosopher named Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about them was that they kept us reading the old ones, right? And so a bunch of short stories that were written in the 90s in science fiction and fantasy that are genres of the Eternal Champions are key parts of this classic. And I also like horror stuff too, finding these old classics and such. in order to things people might have heard about or not never read of, or other things by famous authors that aren't as that sort of thing, right? So I like finding these things and pushing it out there for you folks. So that's where this channel comes from. If you read this, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. If you agree with my 6 out of 10, let's talk about it in the comments below. Or if you want to talk about spoilers, just put folder tags, we'll talk about it too. If you enjoyed this, why not? Hit that subscribe button. And if you're feeling frisky, hit the bell icon too to be notified of my 3 things I publish a week for you folks. And also put a like button, hit and reach out and support it to your friends to let them know about the channel. And then finally, I just want to pause and take a moment to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it and watching my video, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, right? And we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.